These men training on a football pitch in eastern Ukraine say they want to defend their country from Russian aggression. FRIEKORPS has its origin in German nationalist groups of the 18th and 19th century, and the leaders of the group say it has thousands of members. But only 60 have bought their own licensed weapons and regularly serve alongside Ukrainian army soldiers on the 420-kilometre front line. 24-year-old GLEB studied Homeland Security and Crisis Management at university. He says one day he wants to open a gun shop.
Why did you choose FRIEKORPS?
Because they're more ideologically closer to me. So I decided to join them.
When you say they are more ideologically closer to you, can you tell me what you mean by that? How? What do you believe in ideologically?
Can we pause that? Okay.
Sure.
FRIEKORPS is not the only armed group accused of being neo-Nazis that has appeared in Ukraine since the conflict with Russian-backed separatists started in 2014. Others, like these men with the powerful Azov battalion, have been incorporated into the Ukrainian security services under the Ministry of Interior. FRIEKORPS and many groups like them have been praised by Ukrainians for their willingness to take up arms and defend the country against what they describe as Russian aggression. But that does not mean that they are popular amongst voters at the ballot box. A coalition of right-wing groups only managed to win less than 3% of the vote in the last parliamentary elections in 2019. But some of its leaders, such as Dmytro Yarosh, have been made advisors to the head of the Ukrainian military. Participants in this torch-lit rally resembling Nazi gatherings in 1930s Germany hold a banner honouring Stefan Bandera, a Ukrainian Nazi collaborator widely recognised as organising the massacre of tens of thousands of ethnic Poles in Ukraine towards the end of World War II. Bandera is the nickname fellow FRIEKORPS volunteers gave this man. 24-year-old BOHDAN says the group has its origin in what he calls pan-Slavism, connecting similar-minded people across Slavic regions of Eastern Europe, including Russia. But that changed when the conflict started.
If the West respects democracy and pluralism of views, they have to respect our views. But to get a political future, we would need to show people we can be competent leaders. We need to gather like-minded thinkers, qualified and educated people. If we manage that, we will have a political future and political strength.
Experts say the far right in Ukraine has its origins in football hooliganism, poverty, and a country that, along with many other post-Soviet states, has struggled with political corruption.
The Russian-Ukrainian border didn't really exist for these movements. The Russian far right and the Ukrainian far right moved in these same circles, and then when the war came, some of them chose one side and some of them chose the other. And the fact is that the connections are still very much there in some parts, and it's almost certain that there are Russian agents of some sort within these movements.
FRIEKORPS leaders say they've been overwhelmed by people wanting to join since the crisis between Ukraine and Russia has escalated. But as NATO countries throw their weight behind Ukraine, they should perhaps be aware of what this conflict is creating on both sides. Stratford, Al Jazeera, Kharkiv, Eastern Ukraine.